we live.
Yeah.
All right. It's the Dap It Up Podcast. I'm Dray the Spectre with my co-host, the Trails Fanatic.
Yep, it's Gunnm.
We're down one Sorcerer Supreme today, but I think it'll still be a good show. This is my favorite podcast on the internet because right here, we cover some of the latest, greatest news in gaming, including all the stuff going on with Xbox right now, how PlayStation may or may not have lied about a little something, and a certain Pikmin game is doing pretty well. Later, we'll talk about our gaming habits as well. But before we get to that, Gunnm, what's going on with you?
Things have been good. Been playing a lot of Trails. That's why I haven't really been active on anything really outside of X.com. Fuck Elon, by the way. But yeah.
Off rip, huh?
Yep, off rip.
We just the slander off rip.
Yep, off rip. But other than that, work's been a bit hectic, but tends to be that way during the summertime. Really, it's just been a lot of Trails and Street Fighter. I'll admit, there's been quite a bit of Street Fighter. I've been finally putting in the time to properly learn that game, and I've seen some progress. So we're getting there. It'll just take some time. It's a harder fighting game to learn than most others, like say a Dragon Ball Fighters or something. That's easy.
Man, we get to that. I asked you about you. I ain't asked you about no games.
But other than that, like, you know, I've been straight.
Ooh.
For a while I did have no AC, but now I have AC, so I'm living.
Yeah. This past week?
For like a week and a half. Yeah, it was terrible.
You picked the worst time, yeah.
So,
I know it was.
So yeah, we had to get a whole new unit. So yeah. But you know, somehow I'm alive still. So yeah, that's about it.
That's good. Well, on my end, I'm finishing a book.
Dr. Dray. I came
Dr.
up with that. Came up with
yeah,
that
you
on the
get
spot.
that's original. Yeah, of course. But yeah, it's just about getting started on your fitness journey. But I feel like the principles in this book can be applied throughout many facets of life. So I've just been plugging away at that, man. I'm doing like a major marketing push throughout August, really throughout the entire summer, that also fortunately extends to our Dap It Up platform. So I've just been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, even if it don't seem like it.
Yeah.
That's just a big chunk of my day is marketing, research, investments. So, I mean, I'm doing good. You know, I like to rise up to the challenge. I like to have something to do. But I'd say aside from that, it's business as usual. Business as usual. Nothing too crazy.
Puppy not keeping you up.
Well, not as much as I would expect. So my first couple dogs, the first one, it took him like a month or two before I could even sleep. The second one, it was a week or maybe a week and a half, and she was sleeping through the night. And this one, he was about as fast as her, but he's going through this phase right now where as soon as 6:50 hits, he's just like, hey, I don't want to be by myself no more. So I normally wake up pretty early, but I'm just trying to get him adjusted to my schedule.
Not like crack of dawn early.
Bruh, like a rooster. I did it with the other two, so I don't have any qualms. I don't have any fears that I won't be able to do it with him. But no, I mean, it's put it this way: my life is much more peaceful than you would expect for someone who has a puppy and a baby at the same time. So happy to
Hey.
say it, bruh. So even though the Sorcerer Supreme isn't here this week, we're still going to include a bonus round at the very end. And we are also going to include the bonus point conferred by our coming this week section.
Okay.
So, you know the drill. I'm going to tell you all the games that came out this week, all the major releases, some of the minor releases. It is up to you to determine which of these is fake.
Right.
Which one game stands out as fake. In fact, I'll tell you this, because I'm not confident in your ability this week based on the title. If you get this one, you just win. You just get a point. How about that?
Okay.
You just get a point toward the total.
All right.
All right, man. July 24th, pay attention. Super Catboy. Then on July 25th, we had Mr. Run and Jump. We had Remnant 2. We had Critical Role, Sundervale. Then on July 26th, we had Ratchet Clank Rift Apart for PC. Vampire Hunters. Double Dragon Gaiden, Rise of the Dragons. No, that's on July 27th, my bad. On the very same day, we had The Expanse, a Telltale series. Oh, I didn't know that was coming out that soon. I thought that was like later this year. We had Koa and the Five Pirates of Mara. We had Let's School. We had Nova Strike. We had Rightfully Barry Arms. And then yesterday, July 28th, we had Disney Illusion Island. So, which one the fake one, man? I know that's a lot, but it isn't the most packed week we've had.
So the Catboy one stakes out.
Does it now?
But it sounds stupid enough to be a real game. I'm sorry to whoever developed it, but I'm also not sorry. Shit. Repeat the ones you said in the middle again.
July 25th.
Yeah.
Remnant 2. Critical Role, Sundervale. Mr. Run and Jump.
Yeah, that's the one. Mr. Run
Which
and
one,
Jump.
Mr. Run and Jump?
Critical Role. I feel like it's that one. I'm gonna go with Critical Role Sunnyvale.
Hey, good job. That's the one.
Wow, I got it. Okay.
Man, I didn't know. I wasn't sure because you know you were familiar with Critical Role, right?
No.
What? Okay.
It just sounded like something that I'm like, is that a game?
That's a D&D show.
Really?
Yeah. So I thought you might have known about it, and that would have kind of tipped you off. But hey, man, good job. No need for a bonus round. I suppose you win. I guess that's all it takes.
God damn.
Yep. Anything stand out to you though?
Out of all those games, I've
Mhm.
heard of Remnant 2. I don't know what it's about, but I've heard of it.
I haven't
Uh,
heard of most of these.
I've heard of The Expanse. Don't know what it's about. I mean, I
Yeah,
mean,
I
I've,
knew that was coming.
I mean, I've heard of some of these games, but it's just nothing. None of them have caught really my interest. So
Right, right.
thankfully, because I don't need more games.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. We gonna talk about that later though. But in the meantime, let's get up to date. What's going on in Nintendo World? This little Pikmin game.
So, as some of you might know, Pikmin just recently came out, and as far as sales, like compared to other entries in the series, it seems to be doing pretty well. So, in the first week in the Japanese market alone, which is where we have concrete numbers, uh, it's usually where we get concrete numbers first from is Famitsu when it
Hmm.
comes to game sales. But in the Japanese market, it sold 400,000 in its first week, which is
Is that
pretty.
the best start
That's
that
the
they've had?
that's the best start the series has ever had. So that is more than I am just triple checking here. That is more than 4 times as much as the previous entry sold in its first week, which to be fair, it was on the Wii U.
That's
And
fair.
that's more than double than 2 and 1 have sold in its first respective weeks.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's off to it's off to the races. So it's doing pretty well. Like you can't underestimate that Switch install base. Like you really can't.
True. Yeah, I think that's been a boon to many a studio. Um, I know you're not a big Pikmin person, but I'm happy to see that that series has legs because, like I told you, I was obsessed with the first one. By the time two came around, I mean, I played like a bit of it in a store, I think, but
Hmm.
most of my Pikmin experience goes back to one. It's
Like,
weird too because I
mhm.
told you I started when I was young. I played the game on release and I couldn't stomach it because I was like, oh, the Pikmin. The first time I blasted off and I left some Pikmin out because at the end of the day you're supposed to restore them in the
Hmm.
ship or whatever it is. I don't remember. Maybe inside their little ships. It's vague, long time ago. But
Hmm.
I saw one of those big bulborb things, the little fruit frogs,
Yeah.
scoop up a Pikmin that was like running for his life, and I turned the game off. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, wait, I thought I saved him. And then it took me years to come back and play that game, but when I did, I loved it.
Like I feel like Pikmin, like just as a series, I've never played it, but I feel like if it's something that I have played, well, do get around to playing at some point, I probably would get into it, but I just really just currently don't have the interest in the series. But I'm
That's fair.
from everyone that I've talked to that do play Pikmin, like they seem to enjoy it. Like it does seem like a good game. It's just I don't know if it's for me until I try it, and but to be fair, I just don't have any desire to really try it. I don't really care to.
It's strategy adjacent, so you might like it. It's
Yeah.
the most peaceful, non-peaceful game I've ever played. Besides maybe Viva Pinata.
Hmm. But
But
yeah, yeah, I probably should give it a try, but
yeah.
maybe someday down the line.
I
Maybe
mean, focus on what you're doing right now. Cause you
definitely,
got a
yeah.
lot happening. You got a
I
lot
do.
happening.
I do. I haven't even finished Hi-Fi Rush yet because I've been playing Trails, which I'm not surprised. I did have a plan, but
Plans foiled.
trails happened. That's all I gotta say. Trails happened.
What's going on with PlayStation, man?
So there was a bit of controversy with PlayStation as far as like the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart stuff, because I don't know if many of you remember, but a long time ago, something that people just will not let go, and people want to make Sony responsible for the things they say, because you should be responsible for the things you say and advertise, is that the thing, like, to be able to go through different dimensions in Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, like, it's only possible through the power of the PlayStation's SSD. So,
did you believe that?
Hell no. But they were just trying to move units at that point.
Bro,
which I get it, but you gotta be responsible for the things you say.
Yeah. But I will say this, man. Let's throw this in there. I feel like it went without saying that was not limited to just the PlayStation. It extended to the PC as well. Maybe the understanding was supposed to be the Switch and Xbox can't do this.
Yeah.
That's how I took it. Because I'm like...
Yeah, they say, you can only do this on an SSD.
The PlayStation ain't stronger than a PC.
But come to find out, people got this game on PC. Guess what happened? Niggas with mechanical hard drives started running the game. Which, to be fair, some high-end systems, like kind of like mine, but it is definitely possible to play that game on high settings, as long as you have, like, I don't want to say minimum, like close to like a 13900K, but something close to it, like maybe like a 12th or 11th gen or something, with like about the latest graphics card. Like, I have like a 4070 right now, so I could probably run that game off my current mechanical drive on high settings. So
I should hope so. So people are mad about this, or is it just kind of?
It's kind of just irony.
Oh, okay.
But it does seem like more and more people are taking notice of this, so they're kind of just throwing shade at Sony about it, which deservingly, because they were saying it's only possible on that solid state drive. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Well, one thing I'm glad we potentially won't hear much more of is, why would I get an Xbox? All the games are available on PC. I mean, look what's been happening, right?
Yeah, they've been putting their games on PC.
Yeah, I personally don't think this is that huge a deal, but I mean, yeah, sure. You want to hold these companies accountable for the things they say. I just feel like they were implying, hey, the Xbox ain't as strong as us.
They were definitely trying to say, like, even on PC you can't do this if it has a mechanical drive. Like,
I must have missed that.
That's what it seemed like they were trying to imply. Like, this is impossible to do on a PC with a mechanical drive. Like,
that's wild.
Like, that is, I'm like, that is, Sony, shut up.
Well, what's going on with Xbox then?
Oh man, so we got quite a bit going on with Xbox. So for one, Xbox got Final Fantasy 14, and that was announced actually today.
Yeah.
So that's actually a huge deal, especially considering the fact that they've been getting a lot of support from Sega as of late. And they're getting a lot of their titles that are coming out pretty soon. So that's a pretty big deal that it seems like they're finally getting that Japanese third-party support, which was something that they were desperately missing and desperately needed. They need that Japanese publisher support because those games are crucial for getting, certain audiences of gamers like on board as far as like wanting to play on your system. Like,
diversifies the portfolio.
Exactly. Like there's people like you, Dray, that like to play like, Tales and stuff like on Xbox. There's a lot of people, more than you think, more than you would think. Like there are droves of people that would love to play JRPGs on their Xbox over their PlayStation or PC or whatever. So
Switch.
Or Switch.
Most definitely. FF14 was here.
So yeah, it's but yeah, so it's really telling that Xbox is really coming like a long way.
Right.
With as far as like getting support for their platform. So hopefully, I mean, they have been getting some Square Enix titles like Final Fantasy and such. So that's good, but we need to see like, Square Enix's other stuff. Like more of those triangle strategies, those those other HD 2D games that they're making, stuff like that. So it's just good to see that this could lead to other things coming from Square. Maybe even Final Fantasy 16 showing up there. I don't
it's
think
good to see them acknowledged.
I don't think that's an exclusive deal. I think they got exclusivity for a while, but
right,
it could come to Xbox. So that's great.
Bro, there was a giant woolly mammoth sitting on the living room table. And I'm glad they addressed it. It's good to see. And this might be a crazy claim. I don't know if it's going to be 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Xbox is going to buy Sega.
You think so?
I feel it in my bones, man. If they don't buy them, they are at the very least going to secure almost a PlayStation Sony level exclusivity, contract. Something, man, bro. Sega is gonna become synonymous with Xbox. It ain't gonna happen tomorrow. It might not happen next month, but something's in the water. That's all I'm saying.
I don't like, especially after the Activision thing and how difficult that was to go through. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I think
they said they're not done. Here's the thing. That's the key, because I agree with you. But that's why I said it's not happening soon. Because they want as much heat off of them as possible.
Yeah.
They want to make moves in silence.
Yeah.
So I think some version of that is going to occur. I just don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Because you remember, there was this document released during the whole ABK case that pointed to Sega as one of the potential one of the potential acquisitions by Xbox. So I mean, they've at least discussed it. Some of the recent actions they've taken, Persona being revealed on the Xbox stage, just a lot of this speaks to a certain loyalty that Xbox is somehow inspiring in Sega, which shouldn't surprise us that much considering they do have a pretty decent working history. But Yeah, I think you're right. Like, it ain't. I don't even think it's gonna happen in a year. But I feel like there are certain people at Microsoft and certain people at Sega who are just checking that watch every day. Like, okay, when the time is right.
Mm. Mm. I guess I could see that, but I think it would be more beneficial to just do kind of like what Sony does with Square. Just basically have like a lot of exclusive partnerships with them. Like, at least to the point to where like it's almost like they're part of your company, but you just have a really good business relationship. Like, that's basically what Sony does, but yeah, I mean, who knows?
I do think that is
I
more
just don't.
likely to happen. But here's the thing: you have to consider what the reluctance is. Like, why don't you see it? Because to me, it just makes sense for, say, Sonic to suddenly be an Xbox mascot. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, like that sells itself. To know that you have to get an Xbox or a PC to play Sonic or Persona. I mean, let alone the plethora of IP they have at their disposal. Like, I think that would be a major get. To your point, if they could work out some kind of exclusivity thing, it still work to their benefit. It's just, I don't know. If they want to play the exclusivity game, which it seems like they're kind of wishy-washy about, it's what I would do if it was possible. I mean,
Mm.
shoot, if they could get away with it, why not? People will buy Xbox to play Sonic,
Yeah. Mm.
but
Okay.
didn't you say there was some hardware issue going on with Xboxes too?
Well, a potential hardware issue.
Potential.
So it is very possible for the NVMe SSDs that are in the Xbox to fail. So unfortunately, there's an issue with replacing those. So apparently, Xbox has put some sort of proprietary key that changes all the time, at least every time when you update the system. So you can't just use like any NVMe SSD to just replace it whenever it goes bad, unfortunately. Which, it's easy to just get one, aftermarket, like from Amazon or something, normally to just replace that. But whenever that particular component goes bad, like unfortunately you have to just send it to Xbox to get repaired. So
Hmm.
really, like, the issue with it is really like a kind of like just a right to repair thing. So you can't repair it yourself, which is something that would be easily repairable. So that's kind of like the current uh how should I say current little hubbub and thing issue that people have with Xbox right now
Yeah.
is, the ability, well, knowing that, this part can fail and you can't just easily fix it. You have to just send it to them. So yeah. So that's basically it. So
Well,
as far as my stance on it, you should always have to right to repair something like that. And replacing
right.
a SSD like that, like, it's easy. It's easy as hell. Like, I just recently putting a solid state drive in my PS5 like a couple weeks ago. It was piss easy. Doesn't like, if you can build a computer, like, it doesn't take really anything in order to do that. Like, you're just taking the slot cover off.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, if you can hunt an elephant, if you can hunt a rhinoceros, you shouldn't have no problems, right?
well, okay, maybe I should
If
have
you
put
could
it.
climb a mountain,
Okay, maybe I should have put it like that, but like it's very easy. Like anybody can put a SSD into a PS5.
yeah,
There's nothing to it. Like it's as easy as taking the little cover off and then undoing a couple screws. It's really nothing. But I think for the Series X, it's a. I mean, I haven't taken this thing apart yet, which reminds me I need to clean the fan on this thing. I've had this thing longer than my PS5. I need to do that. But I'm sure it's easy to get to where the SSDs are. So, which is
yeah,
why I have a problem with it. So, if my SSD goes bad for whatever reason, I'd like to be able to just replace it, just get another one off Amazon, have it here next day, and boom, just have it running the next day. But no, I have to put it in a box and send it off to Microsoft. And if anyone remembers the Red Ring of Death days and how long it took for your 360 to come back,
did you have a 360?
we
No,
did.
you did. But did you play it
I
though?
did
I know
play
your brothers
it.
had one.
I
Okay,
did play
that just sounded real phony for a second.
You know how long it
But
took for them shits to come back? Oh,
forever.
like
I got Red Ring.
Jesus.
You know what else
Jesus.
takes forever though?
What?
Beating a Trails game. Which is why for the Whatcha Playin section, I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
And I'm gonna touch on everything I've played that is not Trails. And then you and I can wax Trails for as long as we need to.
All right.
So, I've been playing 2 games this week. One of which I've played much more of, and that is Marvel Midnight Suns. Now, I'm glad Beat isn't here so that he doesn't think I played it on his recommendation.
Oh, good.
Because you remember way back when we did a podcast where we had to convince each other to try something that put a bad taste in our mouth, initially, at least. And he swore by this game. Meanwhile, I'm like an XCOM purist. So I recently heard a lot of buzz around it, and I don't know, maybe it just tickled the superhero bone or something. I don't know what happened, but I just got the urge to try it at least. I'm like, if it's somewhat like XCOM, even somewhat, then I'm sure I'll enjoy it to some extent. So I've played it. I've been playing it. I'm like, I don't know, maybe almost 20 hours in or so. And I'm doing it. Everything, bro. I'm enjoying it. I wouldn't say I love it because there are many creative decisions that don't really sit right with me.
Yeah, I
Namely,
could name a lot of creative decisions I don't like with that game.
dude, the cards is okay. Here's the thing: it's not terrible in practice, but I don't like the acquisition of new abilities. I'm like, I wish it was just simple. It could have been as simple as this is a turn-based strategy game. You pick your move, you do your move, you know? Now, in lieu of cover mechanics, there's more like environmental interactions. Like you throw trash cans and stuff at the enemy. You try to bounce them off the wall, bounce them off each other. You vault over things to do a damage boosted attack. There's depth to it. It's just that core card system, as much as I've gotten used to it and as satisfying as the combat is, I just feel like they didn't need to go that route. I feel like that was something. I think they just wanted to set this apart from XCOM as much as they could. And there's also like they have to do something about the microtransactions in this game, or at least the licensing, because I ran into this issue where I played the trial and then I bought the disc-based version of the enhanced edition, which was supposed to give me some extra skins, right?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't. So I installed it, I uninstalled, reinstalled several times over. And the DLC is still locked off to me. I can't access it. Granted, it's just a few skins, but I paid for this edition of the game, and I don't really feel like filling out a ticket either. I'm like, I don't care enough about the skins to be like, hey guys, because with the studio head leaving Fire X's, I'm kind of like, I don't think they're gonna support this game much beyond the recent patch they released.
Yeah.
So I have a few misgivings with it, but it's been enough of I'll say a fresh change of pace to hold my attention for most of this past week.
Mm-hmm.
You play anything besides Trails?
A lot, and I do mean quite a bit of Street Fighter.
If it was practice mode, it doesn't count.
No, it's been a bit against people, that's for sure.
Good.
So, I've been trying to learn, like, at least when I run into higher ranked people, like gold ranks, I played a couple platinum ranks too. So I've been trying to make the most of my time whenever I do run into them. I haven't done really a lot of rank yet, but I do a lot of casual games. But through those casual games, I get to play some high rank people. So let
me ask you this though: you don't feel like higher ranked people play different in casual? Because if they know they're not losing their rank, I feel like there's a psychological element to that.
Not really. You can tell when somebody's trolling around, but
well, see, because I felt that way.
A lot of people
playing Tekken.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I felt that way playing Tekken. There was something about encountering a player whose rank was at risk versus encountering a player who's playing just to play. Because somebody who made the elective decision to go into ranked was like, I'm about to set aside time, no interruptions, and I'm about to grind. Versus a person playing casually, they probably got company. They might be babysitting. You don't know what's going on. So it's not to take away from your experience. I just wondered what you thought about that. Because anytime I encounter a higher ranked player in a casual setting, I don't really think too hard about it.
Well, that's the thing. You gotta make them respect you. So you gotta like show them like, oh, I know what I'm doing, and they're like, oh, okay, this guy can play. So then they start trying. So, but I do agree with you, because a lot of the time when people are playing casual and they're higher ranked, they're usually like trying to learn a new character or something. A lot of times, or that's going on. Like you said, they got stuff going on. So they're not trying to play like super serious, but I make them play serious. So so I try my best to make the most out of that time whenever I do play these people. And it's definitely been making me a better Street Fighter player, but there's so much to learn in that game. There's so much conditioning and just little things that people do to just mix you up and just it's crazy. That game has way more depth than you would think. Like it's definitely it's up there as far as like pretty close as far as difficulty to Tekken. There's a lot of layers to Street Fighter. There's a lot of layers. But yeah, I've been spending a lot of time playing Street Fighter. I've been enjoying my time with it.
When do you find time to play this with Trails being out?
I play in between. I play about an hour or so a day before usually like before I go to bed.
Right, that makes sense.
So between that, Overwatch here and there.
We don't talk about Overwatch on this podcast.
Yeah, I've been playing way less of that because we're in a Hanzo meta and I hate that nigga. But
he's Japanese, man.
I hate him.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I hate him to my core. But season 6 is almost out. I'm gonna be playing that a lot.
Get to Trails already, man. Ain't no way you've been playing. I thought that was all you were playing was Trails. But you like, Overwatch, Street Fighter. Love Street Fighter.
Well, okay, so you want to just go on the Trails now?
Yeah, because I'm like, what else?
Okay.
Next you going to tell me, I played 3 minutes of Hi-Fi Rush, 10 minutes of Octopath.
Okay. All right. So
get to the meat.
So now we get to Trails.
Right.
This game is probably, not even probably, it is the best in the series. I haven't finished the game yet. I'm still like kind of like story-wise, I'm not too sure 100% what direction it's gonna go. But man, this game, it's immaculate. Like gameplay wise, it's immaculate. It's like the perfect Trails game.
I think so.
Like it's like Falcom just decided to just make the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate of Trails games and just say like, everyone is here. Here you go. Have fun. Do what you want.
Right. I will say this though, much like Cold Steel 3 and 4.
I thought Cold Steel 4 was crazy.
The sheer volume of characters is so, it's like, if you are not familiar with this series and you just played into Reverie for the hell of it, you would be so confused. There are so many reveals and, hey, I'm here too. You'd be like, alright, who that? But to your point, as a Trails fan, it's an embarrassment of riches. So I kind of want to do something different this week and interweave the topic of the week with Trails.
Okay.
So the topic of the week is gaming habits. And I'm very curious to know, you're definitely further along in the game than I am. But what are some of your habits? Like, particularly with a JRPG in this case, right? How do you play them? Do you do every single little thing possible? How many hours at a time do you play? Do you take breaks?
Okay, there's a couple of things, especially with a Trails game that I do. All right, because I think I said this last week to you. So because I'm autistic, I talk to everyone. Thank God it's a lot.
Are you actually autistic?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wait. No.
Well, autistic about doing this certain thing. I talk to everyone, but thank God in this game it's so much easier to do that, and it's a much more self-contained experience. Like I don't have to fly around to like 6 different regions to find out this one little bit of dialogue is different for this one NPC,
Right.
but it's the same for like these other 3. Like shit. It's not as many NPCs, but there's still a good amount of dialogue here. So there's still a lot here.
Yeah.
Just it's not as tedious if you're like me. So that's one thing. 2, unfortunately, this has gotten worse. I like the min-mats a lot. So unfortunately, I find myself in a menu all the time because of all these damn characters. But thankfully, they do make it easy for you. Like there's like you can even look at the items and everything that you're using for different party members, like in different routes.
Across. Yeah, I noticed that.
So it's amazing, and you can switch between routes like interchangeably, like whenever you want.
Almost too many options, bro.
It's this game is it just gives
like
you,
I said,
it just gives you options. If you're bored of one route, you can go to another. You can just be like, all right, I don't like what's going on.
I'm tired of this. Y'all talking too much. Right, exactly. But we'll see. Like I said on the last podcast I was on, they almost start you with too much. You're already at level 100 and you have so many options. Of course, you have to grind to access them, but you got so many things at your disposal from the jump.
Yeah.
One thing on the topic of talking to everybody, one thing I do with this game that I do with pretty much any game that I'd say I'm in love with, I don't talk to everybody. I talk to who piques my interest, but I scour every corner of every map to make sure I get every chest, every item, and unlock every quest that isn't hidden. Like every quest that I can organically stumble across without talking to random unlabeled NPCs.
Speaking of that,
what's up? Yeah.
Something I have noticed that definitely makes this game move along quicker. There are no side quests. Not really. I don't know if you've noticed that.
There's very, very small side objectives. There's no like...
I have done one that I would classify as a side quest, like throughout
like
the
a
entirety,
whole side quest.
like throughout the entirety of the game. Yeah, like it's optional.
Yeah. I imagine it'd be hard to keep track of with the whole 3 routes thing, though.
But I get it, considering the whole. I don't know if you've gotten there yet, but I know you're in Act 2, so you're close. But I don't know if you've gotten there yet.
The tower thing?
Yeah.
I haven't accessed it, but I know about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of side content, obviously. Not necessarily quest, but just I think they really regulated a lot of that to the what is it called again? Because I know all about it. I just haven't gotten to that point.
I mean, it is in the title of the game, the Reverie Corridor.
Reverie Corridor, that's it. The Reverie Corridor. Yeah, man. Well, another thing I do is, if it's I like trophies and achievements. And this is a game that I know I'm going to spend a lot of time with. At the very start, I always go through the list. Of course, I don't tick the spoilers. I go through the list and I'm like, okay, how is this trophy list going to incentivize me to play differently than I normally would? And bro, trust me, I already know over the course of a Trails game, you experience thousands of battles, but unless the situation calls for a different action, right now, Every time I get the opportunity, rush, 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 because I'm
Yeah.
trying to get that trophy. And then it'll be like burst, burst, burst. Like, but
Man,
yeah,
like
those are two little habits I have that definitely bled into this game.
I will say this
Uh-huh.
about the game because you can actually, I don't know if you're able to in the other games, but you're able to interchangeably change the difficulty however you want at whatever point.
I ain't doing that. I know you can though.
But so for the hell of it, I went off a nightmare and I tried normal.
Normal.
Just to see how
I
much
thought you were gonna
easier it
say you
is.
tried the new difficulty.
No, I wanted to try normal just to see.
And
It's like baby mode. So,
here's the
like,
thing, man.
you gotta at least at minimum. I will say this for anyone that hasn't played this game, if you have played all of the Cold Steel games, you have to at least at minimum play this game on Nightmare for it to be any
Yeah,
sort of
just play on
challenge.
Nightmare.
Like
Seriously.
everything this game like gives you, especially like you have to play on Nightmare for it to
You
be
can break
like
it so easily.
like it's so easy to break this game. I'm breaking this game on Nightmare.
Hmm.
Like Jesus Christ. Like the characters, like oh man, some of my characters are just so sickening. They're sickening. Like even on the hardest difficulty, I'm like, how would this even still be hard?
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh. But whatever. Aside from that, like it's man, I just love like just being able to customize, like just the customization, like the options you have. It's crazy. It's
We'll
so
be talking
crazy.
more about it in the coming weeks, I'm sure. But what is your standout feature of this game? Like closing thoughts. What's your favorite thing about it this far in?
Oh man. Christ. Um
Christ?
that's actually hard.
Well, I'll tell you mine first. For me, it's the variety, dude. It. I'm not the type of person who likes to have 40 freaking party members, but they do a good job of giving you enough to make them all feel different and serve a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a min maxer like you. I like to spend a lot of time in menus. I'm the type of person, another habit, I will level up 3 times before I go into a menu. I would like do a whole dungeon dang near before changing anything about my characters so that by the time I go back to the menu, I have gained so much to choose from. And I do that a lot in this game too, where I'll just grind and grind and grind and then spend my mirror, you know.
Okay. So there's definitely variety. Um so there is a feature and it does in that you get once you do get to the Reverie corridor. It's a new feature. I won't say what it is, but all I will say is that it does concern orders. So based on that, anyone that's gotten that far, they probably know what I'm talking about. I really love that feature. Being able to do that.
I can hear the sparks flying out of your brain trying not to spoil anything right now.
I'm trying not to. But it's a really cool feature. It's a really cool feature and I really like that. because and there's another thing there. I need you to get to the corridor, man, because there's something I want to say about it that I'm like, what the fuck, Falcon?
I tell you what, we'll save it for next time. It sounds like you got your game of the year already, though. Like you just might.
I just might.
Because I know you're biased too. I don't know what else would overtake this for you.
I haven't finished Tears of the Kingdom. There's that.
Sure. That's not improbable.
What else is out this year?
I'm not asking you to think hard about it.
I guess that's it.
Like I don't really think. It's just the way you beam and glow about this game is a little different, than even Octopath or something like that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite series. So,
yeah, I mean, look, good for you, and also good that you got a point on the board, which might not seem fair because you didn't have any competition, but I think it was a really good guess during the news segment or the out this week segment. But this has been a Dap It Up podcast. Mm-hmm. Play Trails. I know we keep saying it. Just play it. Just play it.
Good series.
Put a shot.
Start from Trails in the Sky.
You gotta stop. See, I disagree with him. Start with Cold Steel 1. Just play the Cold Steel games. And then go back. How about this? Play Cold Steel 1. If you like it, play Cold Steel 2. If you like that, go back. Then play 3 and 4. What you think? I think that's the best order.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the best order. Well, the best way to get somebody into it is to start with the Cold Steel games, honestly. And then tell them to go back.
But all right, y'all. We'll see you next week.
All right. Take it easy.